Hey everybody, it's Matt Johnson. We're back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. We've got a great guest. We've got Gene is joining us for the first few minutes of the show today. We've got a tech and social media tips. We've got a lot going on today, so let's jump right in. First of all, the junior grandmaster himself in the co-pilot seat, as always, where he so belongs.
Yep.
Let me, Daniel. Greg, what's up today?
What up, Pimpalicious? Hey, I am excited. All right. Hey, it is Cinco de Mayo as we are recording this, guys. I am super excited. We have a very large soiree taking place at my parents' house, which is our team leader's property. We're going to have a couple hundred people come over, drink some beer, act like an idiot, and eat some tacos and have some fun. Hopefully we won't fall in the pool. But no matter if we do or we don't, we're still going to have a damn good time. And I'm also very excited. We have some really cool guests here with us. Sterling is awesome. You guys are going to hear about how to become an influencer with him and kind of some of his backstory. So if any of you all are bitching that you don't have what it takes, shut the fuck up, because you know what? This man has come to hell and has made himself a rising success. And then we have the Velpy, the Gene, the evil grand master ninja of the all internet. He is here.
That's an awesome introduction.
No, dude.
Not bad, right? I'll take it.
He held down a rope, inverted, and just crushed me yesterday with what he had developed for me. I'm like, no shit. And I seriously sat there, no joke, and I was just typing away, looking at this dashboard he built for me. And he's like, Greg, I'm like, yeah, what? He's like, are you still with me? I'm like, yeah, why? He's like, because you're not talking. I'm like, I know, you got so much cool content. I literally got sucked into it.
Gene, you've managed to do what I have failed to do in the 2.5 years of my relationship with Greg, which is get him to shut up for longer than 5 seconds.
Silence him.
All right, Johnson, enough out of you. Let's bring in the Velpy. What do you got, man? Wow us with your awesomeness.
You caught me off guard there. So wait, So listen, we were just talking about how much you guys are hating on Twitter. So hate a little bit. Why don't you hate?
Oh, man.
No, I'm not hating. Sterling wasn't hating. Matt was hating. Matt was hating.
I threw a little bit.
I merely said that I have no room in my heart for Twitter. That is all I said. Which is odd for me because I'm a big fan of the written word, and Twitter was always, traditionally text-based. So you'd think it would be like a very natural thing. Unfortunately, it's like a foreign freaking language. And so, Gene, you had some tips on how to grow your Twitter followers. I have no Twitter followers, no interest in growing a Twitter following. But if those of our audience are interested, it is a great place still, I think, to reach people, to grow an audience. The people there that are active, they're obviously active on social media. There's been a lot of people that have been on Twitter for what it now amounts to a long time in the social media world. I mean, we're talking about going on, 8-9 years, maybe not quite that long, but close to it. And still a great opportunity to reach people and connect with influencers and stuff like that. So it's not like it's bad. I don't have room in my heart for another social media network. Let's put it that way.
Oh my God.
Listen, Johnson, I love you. And you're unlike the other 700 million people that must be wrong. Twitter does suck, right?
Yes.
Sorry. No, that's not true. That's not true. Listen, it's not for everybody. Just like Snapchat, people look at Snapchat crooked. I mean, it certainly doesn't have to be your cup of tea. But what I will tell you is that if you use it properly, it ends up being another spot for you to get noticed, randomly or by the people that are following you. So if you just give you an example, if you Google my name with a space in it, on that first page, there's a whole bunch of my social media platforms and my website to come up. And like fourth on that page is my Twitter account. And, that to me speaks somewhat of volumes because there's only 10 spots on the front page of Google. So if Google's saying to me, hey man, we're going to put your account on the Twitter page on 4 or 5, that's telling me the algorithm thinks it's somewhat important. So while a lot of people do think it's dead, I will tell you this, you said something interesting. I always crack up when I talk to most people in my world say to me, I just don't understand it. It actually happens to be the easiest platform to navigate and to use, which is why I think it makes people, look, Greg's shaking his head, I can see it.
No.
But here's the thing. It's so simple that people overthink it and confuse themselves out of it. So what I always tell people is if you're not really into it, just connect it to your Facebook page, right? So that when anything you post on Facebook goes out to Twitter, so you have content flowing there. Just do that.
Right.
And listen, if you do that and one person that's watching your feed on Twitter finds you and calls you for some odd reason or interacts with you, that's a win-win. I mean, it's just another spot to be. But what I was going to say for the folks that do like Twitter, I could tell you a bunch of stories about my Twitter feed, but I can tell you that when anything crazy is going on in the world, that's actually where I go for my news. It ends up being, in most cases, aside from some of the video platforms, but you have to be like on Snapchat.
Don't worry about it, because soon that will change now that Facebook Live is here. So
yeah,
now you go to Facebook.
It will, for the most part. But here's the thing: they've always had these video. I'm trying to think of the one just recently. Periscope. Periscope is a great one because I remember a year ago the cameramen in the industry were getting nervous because now everybody's a cameraman, right? So what do you need? What do you need to pay somebody behind a camera to shoot for when you have 80 million people on the street just running around with their phones running, right? So and Twitter didn't die when that happened. So it's going to be around. They're certainly going to have to make some strategic moves, to get it better and more usable. But there's a Twitter following that's pretty all over it, and they won't leave. They're not going to go anywhere until Twitter shuts down, which I don't see happening anytime soon. So
they're actually making inroads right now. They're greasing wheels. And Sterling, I want to get your opinion on Twitter before I spout off. So Sterling, Twitter, thumbs up, thumbs down.
Down.
He went down.
Yes, it's a fair fight. It's 2-on-2.
I wanted to go this way, but I'm down. I pretty much pushed all in on Instagram and as well as Facebook when it comes to pushing out content.
Interesting. Yeah. Actually, Twitter right now, I was watching the Social Media Examiner's live show this morning, and they were talking about how Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, they are inking massive deals to create live streaming channels on their platforms. So basically it will be a live streaming channels. They're going to be probably reaching out to content creators and outside creators to create content on an ongoing basis, 365, 24/7 live streaming information. So Twitter, I think, might transform to more or less a live stream of information with multiple different providers. So it's in Snap is going that direction as well. Facebook is trying to dominate that marketplace. So it's very interesting about that kind of content. And guys, if you want to be on top of that stuff, I mean, Social Media Examiner is fantastic. Listening to Gene is unbelievable, and you got some great resources here to really kind of get smarter. Okay, just get smarter.
Let me jump on that because for what Sterling said, I think I need to really get on it. You're 100% right. If you have one strategy these days, the two platforms that you mentioned I should say one strategy because ultimately for me, Instagram and Facebook are one and the same because when you're doing Facebook advertising, you can kind of push it both directions. So if you are sitting
Instagram.
Absolutely. So if you are thinking about that one thing, Sterling's nailed it right on the head. I mean, that's really where you want to be for sure. But to Greg's point, just about 6 months ago, maybe a little bit longer, this kind of came and went. But Twitter inked a deal with the NFL where they actually had 6 to 8 games or something that they live fed through Twitter. They tried it already. And I don't think it was a huge success. They let it go. We'll see again if they re-up it. I haven't seen anything they re-up for this year, but they are going that live stream route. And I'll tell you, if they got the NFL's attention that quick, the NFL just doesn't sign with anybody. You've heard who they're with: Disney, CBS, and Twitter, right? And ESPN, which is Disney. But I think that's an important element. Twitter is kind of re-pivoting and figuring out where they need to be. And really right now, everybody's following the Facebook Live model. So you should see something like that pretty soon.
Agreed.
Yeah, very cool.
Scott Galloway from L2. I don't know if you guys know L2. It's like a data research company. He has some really awesome YouTube videos. He's a funny guy, but he made the prediction that one of the big four tech companies will buy the rights to the Super Bowl or the Olympics within the next couple of years.
Huh. Yeah, that's interesting.
Facebook, Google, Amazon, Apple.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jesus. And if you remember a little while ago, on one of the shows that we did, I think I
don't remember any of our shows. No, I have no. I have no. Once they're over, I have no recollection of what happened.
I thought this was the first time we ever did one.
Which is why you keep coming back. Because you don't remember the pain.
I'm a glutton for punishment. I don't even know it.
Oh, shut up.
Well, now we're off track, so you might as well just cut me.
I know. Well, Sterling, I want to hear from you real quick. Give us an idea of kind of your background, just a 60-second overview, who you are, where you are, what you do, and then we'll dive into a little bit about how you use social media before we get into the rest of your story.
Gotcha. So born and raised in Indianapolis in all of the troubled areas, the areas as investors in the market tend to shy away from, war zones, as people would say. And I'd say I really got started in the industry about late teens, 18, 19, on the construction side of things, getting my hands dirty. And then I met a mentor about 2 years later, 2 to 3 years after that. And he was a commercial developer, actually started working for that individual for free. Yes, free, you guys. And just the pull from his experience in the industry, which was about 20 to 25 years, partnered on a couple single family homes with that individual. And then fast forward to where I am now, to where my partner and I are purchasing well over hundreds of single family homes. And now we've expanded to the multifamily realm with syndication.
Cool. There's a lot to jump into, but we'll get to that in a second. Let's quickly just go back to like the Facebook, Instagram thing. So where does that kind of fit into your world, especially on the investing side? And obviously you're dealing with resident. Are you actually using it to generate interested, homeowners that want to like raise their hand and essentially say they want to sell their home, or using it more for branding?
More so branding and providing value to not only investors, but also people that are mostly investors that are wanting to get into the field. And Gotcha. This is what I'm currently doing. You can take this and leverage from my experience.
Yep. Gotcha. Yep. So it's a great way to generate both connections, relationships in the field that you're in. Obviously, if you're looking to get, like you've got a company, we'll talk about that in a second, but if you wanted to get into, let's say, coaching, consulting, speaking, whatever, anything that leverages like what you've done and what you've been successful at, those platforms are great with connecting with other people that are in that game or want to jump in, because you can just share. It's basically just out educating other people that are doing the same thing.
Correct. Providing as much value as you can.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, and that's always been, Greg, our approach is just we want to Frank from Viral is, you talk about mentors, that's my mentor. He said something a long time ago that I'll never forget, which is that we always want to out educate our clients and prospects. Like that is the strategy for bringing in new clients, is just to flat out educate anybody else. So his perspective was always that our marketing needs to be so good that somebody's willing to pay for it. The content in it is so good that it's worth paying for, but we give it away for free. And so I've always tried, like, that's the way me and Greg market. That's the way I market my podcasting business. Like that's carried over into so many other things, just that out teaching kind of mentality.
Yeah, a lot of the times, if you think you're bringing too much value, stick with that model. I've been called dense more than a few times, and not like you're stupid dense, but like just dense, like there's too much info.
You beat me to the punch on that.
I know. I was not letting a single breath go by until I clarify that.
I've been called dense. I could just let that lay there like an anvil. Oh,
not a chance in hell.
Nope.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's funny. Well, speaking of out educating, so we just wanted to quickly mention, and then Sterling, why don't share with people how they can connect with you on Facebook and Instagram before we move on?
Yeah, so you can connect with me on Facebook at Sterling White Fan, and that's what you type into the search, and on Instagram, Sterling White _, which I need to change that handle on the Instagram.
It's tough to find something.
I've been looking to buy out the person who actually has that handle, Sterling White, and he has not moved just yet. I'm going to get him to sell it.
They have business accounts on Instagram now. I don't know if that makes a difference, but that might be an option. I seen something pop up on Instagram here a few weeks ago where it asked me if I wanted to like transition my personal account over to business. So there might be something there where you have some flexibility to pick something either with the business name, or there might be just some options there. But anyway, Greg, we need to talk very briefly before we let Gene go about the new course that starts on Monday.
Yes, we do, Matt.
Because we're horrible at it.
Yeah, we fucking suck. Guys, we have got a great business. It's called Get Now Business. It's right there. It's probably reversed, but you can, all dyslexics united. We all can read that. The rest of you guys are not going to be able to get it. But it's going to be awesome, guys. We're going to talk about everything, how to get your business now versus, down the road. Don't stop doing your branding pieces. There's no door knocking. There's no cold calling. We're taking away all the horrible things that are associated with finding new clients. We're just pushing those aside, and we're bringing in easier things to do where you don't have to go get told no and get punched in the nose. This is going to be a lot easier, a lot more fun, guys. We do it on Monday mornings from 9 until 10. Live video calls. You guys are going to get a recording of the live video calls. So if you want to go back and watch it at 2 a.m., you can go back and binge on it at 2 a.m. if you want to. It's going to be, like I keep saying, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to open up your eyes, guys, to a lot of the different prospecting methods that are literally right here in front of you. You just can't see them because you're not focusing on them. So it's Get Now Business. I'll put the link in here, guys. Go sign up right now. We have up to 20 spots in this class. We're not taking anyone over 20 spots. We may have to do a spillover in another month, but that is it. And then a shameless plug for myself. Go follow me on Facebook. Okay, back to you, Matt.
No. But I did want to say, I'm going to give, I think I'm going to give, Greg, tell me what you think about this, but give away the Introvert's Guide to Sales Success to anyone that signs up for the class on Monday. So that's good. We haven't even decided how much to charge for that yet, but we're going to give away for free. Yeah. So we always want to give away extra value. That was an amazing training class we did about how to turn like an introverted personality into an advantage in sales situations. So we're going to throw that in for free to anybody that ends up going through the Get Now Business class. So it's getnowbusiness.com. Gene, how do people connect with you?
Facebook, Gene Volpe Media. Instagram, the Gene Volpe. There's just a million ways. Go to genevolpe.com. There you go.
And that's the link to everything else.
Wait, you ready for this one?
Okay. You say Twitter. I will send a courier to punch you in the stomach.
Well, listen, now I have to do that. Gene Volpe on Twitter, but also 267-88 Volpe.
Oh,
I know. That's legit.
Fancy. He's got a phone number. Look at that.
Legit. All right. That's straight legit.
Oh man. Well, if you have to run, we're sorry to see you go because I do enjoy arguing with you about Twitter.
We'll do it again. Listen, we'll do it again next week on Friday. Sterling, don't let these guys push you around, man. I know you won't.
All right. Thank you, Gene.
Have a good talk to you next Friday, boys.
Later,
Meet you.
All right. So Sterling, let's dive in with you a little bit. So you've been at this a while. I'm really curious about kind of the mentor part. So how did that come into play, and how did that relationship just go from someone that you randomly met or encountered in your life to someone that basically, you work for free, obviously, so you made that offer, but how did that relationship come about, and how does it look today?
It was interesting how it really developed. We were actually working out at the same CrossFit gym, and I always overheard him in various conversations talking about development on his projects, apartment buildings specifically. And a couple times I asked questions, and I was just really interested in seeing how I could basically pull from his knowledge. And then that's when I really wanted to jump full time from the construction to the investing side and said, hey, could I just work for you for free so I can really learn the inner workings of not only the development, but getting the inner workings of your management company and do all the day-to-day, or basically just solve whatever problems you currently have.
Well, first, love that for a lot of reasons, but the last part that you mentioned, like, hey, how can I work for you for free and help you solve all of your problems? That is the best hit to a potential mentor I've ever heard. So for any agent that's listening, if you want to know how to connect with another top agent or anyone in your life that you want to get mentored by, that would be a great pitch for them. Is, hey, how can I come to you and help you solve your problems? I love it.
We had Michael Young on our show this week earlier, and he said the same thing. Any successful person, if you come and use that word, he'd be happy to give you information. Just like certainly like your mentor was happy to give you information because 9 times out of 10 you're not going to do anything, but you're that 1% that actually did do something with it, and you're running with it. Now you guys are working together to develop a lifestyle that you've been wanting to have for quite a while, right? Because you actually took action on your life.
Yes, and it wasn't easy. I learned quite a bit. And I mean, our first deal that we ended up purchasing, I took the time to find the deal. He brought the capital, and instead of taking a fee, I just ended up getting equity. So that's the benefits of basically leveraging what you have, your assets, to solving that person's problem. So that works in any.
Yeah, and Greg, you've always said, like agents, you bring your time and your expertise, and Sterling, that's essentially what you did. Is you said, look, I've got more right now. You've got more money than time. I've got more time than money. Let's work together. I'll put my time to good work, and then I'll help you put your money into play.
That is correct. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how did you sack up and actually go talk to the guy? What was that mental mindset that you walked through? And so you're like going, oh shit, this dude's got a crap ton of money. How do I approach him? I'm not in his league. How did you get over that mental barrier? Because a lot of people, I think, stay behind that barrier their entire lives because they don't think they can measure up to another person who's more successful. They think that that other person would never talk to them. So what was that mindset? Take us through that.
It's really, I think it was more so something I was born with. When it comes to prospecting in general, I'm not afraid to, if I mail let's say a homeowner a postcard, I'm not afraid to actually show up if they don't answer and knock on their door and say, hey, I'm interested in purchasing your house at 123 Main Street. So I think that is just my personality. And that, of course, translated to that, just approached them and said this, and this, and it kind of went from there.
So big old pair of brass balls, basically.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes, to get down to it.
Just to be sure what we're talking
just
about.
to cut through the noise.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Well, I'd love to dive into the prospecting because I know that'll be really, really valuable for the audience. But before we do, kind of flash forward and tell me about Holdfolio and kind of the company that you've got going.
Yeah, so right now what my partner and I do is we've jumped into the crowdfunding space, and what we do is we buy portfolios. Well, we buy 10 single-family homes, bundle them up into a portfolio, and then we allow investors to invest in that portfolio. And now we're at a point to where we really want to scale and bring on more units, and that's why we've expanded into multifamily. Just recently closed on a 46 unit in Indianapolis.
Very cool. Now, are your investors coming from all around the country? Are they local? Where are you finding your investors?
Pretty much across the U.S. and some are overseas as well. And that has been leveraging websites such as Bigger Pockets, and that's going into the whole establishing yourself as a key person of influence in your industry. So we can get into the practicals of that as well.
Yeah,
I'm really interested in that because I think that a lot of the things that people don't do is they don't leverage the influencers around them. And I think that's one of the biggest, easiest, freest ways to get heard and seen in your environment. But people are like, I can't contact that person. And I'm desperately interested to see what you did there because I think that what's between your ears right now is going to be a tidal wave of knowledge and encouragement and positivity for someone who's listening to this right now live or in the recording. They're like, if he did it, I can do it. So I'm going to call this guy, and that's going to happen.
Exactly.
Just from you, Sterling. Just from you. You're the catalyst.
I mean, you'll get some no's, but you'll get that one person that says yes, and you just run with it. That's all it basically comes down to.
Yeah. Well, elaborate a little bit on what you mean by Bigger Pockets and kind of how that feeds into like the top of the funnel. So did you guys work out like some sort of partnership, JV deal? Were you just a guest on the show and that led to a relationship? Like, how did that work?
I would say for about 2 to 3 years, I was in their forums, and this works for agents, anyone who's trying to do any type of business in real estate, is go in there, answer questions, provide value. And through that site as well, I was also writing content about my experience in the industry as well. So making connections, speaking to people, okay, you need help with this. How can I help? This is what I learned during my journey, and this could potentially help. Just seeing how I can help people.
So you're journaling your experiences. You're basically leaving breadcrumbs behind you for people to follow your footsteps, right? So you were pushing through. You were the plow, going like, and no one else is doing this. I might as well do it. And now people are following you. That's awesome, man. That is really, really cool.
I mean,
well, there's something valuable there too for people that are in, like one of the strategies that people talk about a lot is Facebook groups, right? Local Facebook groups, especially for the real estate side. And the problem is that everybody thinks the opposite of the way you think, Sterling, which is how can I get something out of this as quickly as possible? So their mentality is they post. Yeah, they want to post real estate content. They want to post all this stuff. What they don't do is they don't do what you did, which is you lead with value first. You answer questions, you be helpful and be useful to other people first, and then maybe they will accept something self-promotional or something. It's the old jab, 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 right hook.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yes. Love
I
that
knew
book.
that was coming.
Yeah. Jab, 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 right hook, baby.
God, yeah. So when you were jabbing, Sterling, did you think that you would never get to that right hook? I mean, did you just think, did you ever come to a point when you were ramping up, you're just like, God damn it, this fucking sucks. You know, when am I going to get rewards from it? And what pushed you through those mental barriers?
I mean, I'd have to be transparent. There was some times where I was like, this is going to take a lot longer than I had anticipated. But I knew that it was just going to take some patience and just consistency. Keep jumping in there, posting your written content 2 to 3 times a week. Go in there, answer questions, 5, 6. Just stay consistent with offering the value, and you reap what you sow, basically.
Yeah.
Just plant the seeds.
Yeah, with some of the stuff that I'm not a good writer. Matt's a much better writer. So, what you guys, if you're not like Sterling, if you're not like Matt, you're more like me when you epically suck at writing, looks like a third grader used Crayola and started answering questions. You guys can go to a website called rev.com, rev.com. You can take audio or video. You can upload it into Rev for $1 a minute. They'll transcribe it back down to you. Yeah, about 99.9% accuracy in the transcription. So if you want to answer, you can get a lot of freaking words out in 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, so talk 1 to 2 minutes, $1 to $2 to get these transcriptions done. Then you can take the video and the written word and upload it to these different forums if you want to participate and give value back, but you just suck at writing. So yeah. So Sterling, a whole new world for you, my friend. No more writing.
Or hire a editor, which I do have on our team. I'm not the best at writing at all. I mean,
so how does that workflow work for you? Like, what's your natural kind of way that you produce content, and what does the editor do with that?
Yeah, so I'll completely write the content from start to finish, and that individual will just go in and completely say, okay, this grammatical error is here. No, this doesn't make sense. I believe you're trying to say this, and they'll send it over to me, and I'll say, oh, okay, well, actually, I was trying to say this, but just make it to where it makes sense for someone else who is reading.
Right.
No, that's actually
Greg,
what I was
there'd be a lot more involved with yours because I've seen your emails.
They're brutal. They're brutal.
Yes.
That's why I like doing voice text. So much easier. Which no one
That is
listens
true.
to.
That is true. All right. So Sterling, you built up kind of you're very helpful and useful to a very specific group of people that you know that you wanted to build relationships with, right? So the people that you're building relationships with, these are your fellow investors, right? These are people that are fans of the show, right? So you knew that they had like kind of the same hobby, the same interest, the same passions. There's going to be people that are below you. There's going to be people that are at your level, and then there's people that are above you, right? So you've got that super like targeted group, and basically going in there and being useful and helpful in that group. So what was the result? Like, how did things start to happen? Where do you start seeing results, and how did that kind of come back to you?
I would say the results were mainly driving traffic back to our current the organization portfolio. So when I started seeing people where, oh, this guy's offering so much value, he knows what he's talking about. I have $15,000 that I'm looking to invest. Well, he seems smart. Oh, he does. He allows people to invest alongside him. Oh, interesting. There you go.
Okay. Gotcha.
Something I'm interested in. You're talking about buying multiple single family homes. You obviously buy them at a wholesale, right? Because then you got to take them out to retail, and you do fix and flips. Do you buy and holds? What is some of your different strategies, and how do you go about finding these types of properties? I mean, I know you don't want to give away the secret sauce, but I mean, an idea.
I'll give it away.
Okay, give it away. Never mind.
But I mean, what was the question again? Greg?
I don't know. I totally forgot. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wow.
Well, let's talk about the seller lead generation part, because that's the part that directly applies the most to our audience. So when you say that you're not afraid to like show up, like you send a postcard out, you're not afraid to show up at their door. So we've got two things. We've got postcards and pop buys. So what does the lead generation like system look for you guys? How are you finding your homeowners that are raising their hand and saying, yeah, I'm at least interested in a conversation to sell my property?
Yeah, so we use lead generation sites. So Squeeze Pages has been effective. We also do the handwritten mail. So we're very
Nice.
targeted. We'll go out. Now we have someone in house who does the acquisitions that'll drive a specific neighborhood. That house is distressed. That house is distressed. Pulls the public records, and then we'll outsource it to someone else in the house to basically write out all the letters. So that's one approach.
Okay.
And also we leverage realtors, agents. That's about building those relationships, and we put out probably 30 to 40 offers on listed properties in the market. So it's creating a large pipeline of deals to basically, for every maybe 100 deals that you look at, you'll get 5 or 6 maybe. So it's about playing the numbers.
It really is. Now, when it comes down to the real estate agents that you're working with, are you working with only selected people, or are you willing to work with anybody that can bring a deal? Is there certain ethical qualifications that people need to adhere to? What does that agent look like? And if you do the flip, do they get the sale on it, or they just bringing in the project to you one time?
I'd say in our market, it's the 80-20 principle. So 80% of the top agents, or 20% of the top agents are doing 80% of the deals. Mm-hmm. So we're working with mostly the same agents, repetitive, that list the houses that we're interested in, if that makes sense, in distressed condition.
Yeah, so they're in other words, you've got the agents out there, they're taking the majority of the listings in the market anyway. So, and you've built relationships with them so they know that they know what you're looking for. So when they come across a listing, they're saying like, hey, Sterling, this may be a deal for you. Let me send over the details.
Boom. They'll know we close quickly, and yeah, that's how it is. Okay.
So how did you go out and actively seek the relationships with the agents, or did word get around and agents start coming to you?
It was both, but more of just getting out there and purchasing the deals and showing the ability that I'm able to actually close, which goes, I mean, that's what an agent wants. It's for someone to come to the table and actually close on the deal versus kicking tires.
Gotcha. All right, so let's get back to the seller part of it. So when you show up on a seller's front door, let's say, and you're following up to see kind of why they haven't responded, or just having a conversation with the seller. So what does that conversation look like from the investor's perspective? And we can go through some of the same commonalities that relate to our conversations with homeowners. So for you, like, you're dealing with distressed properties. So these are people that are, they're in a bind. There's some life situations going on. These are not your typical, like, just, happy family, 2.5 kids in a minivan out front, and they've got soccer on the weekend. So what do those conversations look like?
I'd say I'll give you a practical experience that recently just happened, in which we had a property under contract. The individual had to back out because his father passed away. And what we did was we actually specifically, I showed up and then had a card that said, "Sorry for your loss," placed that on his door and said, "Whenever you decide to change your mind to sell, give me a call." And he called back 2 weeks later, and then now we're basically going to close on that property. So things like that.
So you're being a human. You weren't being a blood-sucking, investor. You actually gave a shit.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Are you using like Rebo Gateway, to get notifications of divorces, deaths, notice of sale, notice of default, stuff like that? Or are you just how are you getting this information?
On that, it just happened. We don't specifically target. Oh, excuse me. We don't specifically. I kind of just hit puberty on that one.
That was awesome. Oh, that just happened to Greg a couple weeks ago. I died. It was the best thing ever.
I did it like several times. No show. I'm like, God damn it! We're gonna go. My balls have dropped. Damn it!
Oh my God.
That's right. You'll get there. You'll get there.
Just edit that out. Nope, we're
exactly. This is why we're uncensored. Anything.
I love it. That's awesome. Oh my God. All right. So you're not specifically going after probate, divorce, and stuff like that. This just happened because you've got people out there that are essentially canvassing neighborhoods, notice the home, and it turns out, like, how did you even find that out? Did you get on the phone, or did you pop by and find out that his father passed away?
Well, he called us back and said that, unfortunately, I will not be able to move forward because this happened.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You said this was a home that was under contract, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But when when I actually go up and knock on someone's door, I actually knock on the door, I turn around, and so it doesn't seem like I'm intrusive at all, if that makes sense. And
So you
then
kind of like you turn around and kind of like look at the neighborhood and
yeah, look at the neighborhood versus just standing right there, because some people get a little uncomfortable. That's something that I've learned, and that's
that's
when
interesting.
and
That's an interesting strategy. I like it.
Yeah, that really is. So literally, because I grew up door knocking. So you're like knock, 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 turn around, like, and then you just kind of whimsical, just kind of like, oh, what a beautiful tree, and look, there's a butterfly. Oh, Mr. Homeowner,
yeah,
wow, good to see you.
yeah,
Oh, you're
and
there.
yeah, and I just felt that because I've had instances where I've knocked on a door and the person just doesn't answer because they don't know me, but I feel I've had a higher success rate of people actually opening the door when I turn around, and it seems less intrusive, if that makes sense.
Makes sense, actually, because it's not a sign of aggression. It's actually a sign of you're not a threat to them because your back is turned, which means you're vulnerable subconsciously to you're vulnerable to them. So then when you turn around, big smile on the face, open palms, no
Exactly.
protected. Oh, hi. And I think that really is an interesting. Now you make me want to go door knocking. Damn it! I want to try this.
Greg just bolts. You get like just runs out the door. Yeah, exactly.
And
That's
then-
really interesting. So,
then
Sterling, anything in particular you're wearing, like anything that you're bringing with you when you're doing these door knocks?
Very casual.
Mhm.
Because the properties that we target are C-class type
Yeah.
assets, so very working class. I'm not going to show up in a suit or anything because that would definitely not be as comfortable for that individual, I feel. It could go either way. And then once they do answer the door, that's when I let them know that I'm interested in this house. In the event you do decide that you want to sell, here's my contact information, and then just go from there.
So you're not walking up to them and you're saying right off the bat like, hey, I know your blah 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 is taking place. You want to sell? It's like, do you just target that home, or do you target like 5 homes to the right, 5 homes to the left, and 10 homes across the street? Do you do that so they don't feel pinpointed? I mean, how's that work?
It's more of my targeting in distressed, and also if I see that they're behind on taxes, for instance.
So
Depending on
run down the script with me on that. I'm the homeowner. You knock on it. Hello. Give me your script.
Hello, this is Sterling White. I am a individual that's here in town that purchases between about 5 to 10 houses in this general proximity, and I just wanted to reach out, introduce myself, of course, and in the event that you're interested in selling, here's my contact information. Give me a call whenever you can.
Well, how do you know I want to sell? I don't want to sell.
If you're interested in selling.
I like it. If you're interested in something, it's not like, hey, chump, I know you didn't pay your fucking taxes. You're screwed.
Correct.
Hey, yeah, you definitely want to start off with "Hey, chump." That's the best way to build a relationship.
Oh my God.
All right, well, let me ask you this, Jolie. So you've got this, essentially you've built yourself like this targeted list of people that you believe are most likely to do something, right?
Correct.
So how are you going out and kind of maximizing your time? So you mentioned postcards, but then you're also like actually going out and trying to meet these people. Do you have like your canvassers out there in certain like condensed neighborhoods at a time, so you can just go out and just do like one drive and hit a bunch of homes in nearby neighborhoods and just get it done in like an afternoon or something?
Correct. All condensed, super condensed and niched and well researched prior to going out there and taking the time. And actually doing.
When you're out there, how many times do you contact these people? Is it one and done? Do you go and just contact until they tell you to take a long walk off a short pier, or they sign the contract? I mean, how's that look?
Use a CRM by the name of, have you heard of Investor Fuse by chance?
Nope.
Oh,
Not in the investor world, but.
But it's just a CRM that you use to house all your leads. So I'm consistently calling them either about a day or two later, just letting them know, hey, if you're interested in selling again, I mean, not again, but if you, we had spoke a couple of days ago, just wanted to follow up and see, have you taken time to kind of think of what I had mentioned to you? And then that's a simple non-intrusive text. And I'd say I follow up 3 to 4 different times within a 2-week period. And then after that, I'll just put them on like a campaign that is 2 to 3 weeks of either calling them or sending a sly voicemail where the call goes straight to their voicemail.
And I just put Investor Fuse. I put a link in it, guys, in case you're interested in what it is. If you're on Facebook watching this, it is in the links. You can take a look at it. Now, how many times do you get told no, go fuck yourself, until you're like, okay, I'm never calling you back? Or do you just like, you know what, you're just having a bad day, man. I totally get it. You're going through a traumatic part of life. You're embarrassed, probably something has happened that's a detriment to you. How many times until you really say, okay, hey, you're obviously not a candidate for me? Or do you just know that people are going to rebuff you right off the bat for the first time or X amount of times?
I would say in those scenarios, it's 80-20. So if your offer is, let's say, $50,000 to purchase the house, and I'm in Indianapolis, Midwest, so it's pretty cheap.
50 grand? Shit, I thought that was a deposit. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, definitely the properties out here are significantly cheaper than California. But if you're at 50,000, there's no way that you can come up to 70,000. Then and that's where the seller is. Then there's no use. To constantly try and force that one. But if the lead is you're at 50,000, they're at 55, then I would say consistently keep following up with that, even though you'll get some no's. I've had some people say, don't ever call me again. I'm going to block your number. This is a joke. I'm calling the local news. And then 2 weeks later, something happens and they call me and say, I'm ready to sell.
And you're like, congratulations, the price is now 45,000, dick. Should have taken the 50.
I've actually thought about that.
The show Pawn Stars. I'm not even sure if the Pawn Stars is still on, based out of Vegas. He had the whole family selling stuff in the pawn shop, and the grandfather, the older dude, people would always say it's a $100 item, and they're like, well, can I get it for $50? He's like, how about 150? And they're like, no, 100's good. 100's good. I want to see you lead off with that somehow, and to be like, how about I'll sell it to you for 55,000. How about 35? No. Oh, well, I can do 50. Okay, 50 is good, man. Fuck that, 35.
Yeah, it's a psychology thing.
It totally is.
Oh my God,
that's amazing. And what do you buy for $55,000? Is it a property that needs a lot of work, or is it a nice property? What does it look like for that? Because I know there are a lot of people, their heads are spinning right now, going, well, shit, man, I got an extra $100,000. I want to go buy a couple of properties. What do they get for that? And what kind of returns do you get for your investors? Averages.
I'd say it varies upon neighborhood, but generally a property at that price does need some work, not a significant amount. And return wise, it does vary, but what we're seeing, the returns that we're giving is between about 9 to 12% cash on cash.
That's nice. That's a nice little return. And your turn times on these properties, 30, 60, 90 days, 120 days, somewhere in that ballpark?
I'd say about 60 days from the start of rehab to actually getting a tenant in place.
Wow.
We're jumping right in there and hopping on the construction. That's crucial.
So you mentioned when we were talking before you came on the show that you kind of came from more or less the other side of the tracks. You had a difficult upbringing. Tell us a little bit about that and where you are now versus where you were then, and where you want to be in the future for the people that maybe have a similar background story and they're looking at you going, man, this guy's got it going on. I want to be like this guy. Are you stopping here, or do you have much more lofty, ambitious dreams ahead of you? That's the answer I wanted to see.
The neighborhoods that I grew in, just hearing gunshots was, common. I got to the point where just hearing gunshots was very common. And
that's a 22. It's not even big enough. If it's a 24, I'm going to get up if it's a 38. That's a 22.
Oh, man.
I don't roll out of bed for anything less than automatic weapons fire.
Oh my God. And along with that, I had friends that I grew up with playing basketball with them one day. Next day, they're no longer there. And it was some pretty interesting stuff. And uh, what I saw around me was taking probably about 80 to 90% of my friends were taking this path of not so good things. And I kind of just knew that there was a better life. So that's where I'm currently the path that I'm taking now. And I want to show those people from those neighborhoods that have it coming up rougher that you don't have to take that path. You can just follow my footsteps and there's another route to take basically.
Yeah, when we were doing pre-show interviews and kind of like we were talking about what you could bring to the show, and that really struck a chord with me. I think a lot of people around us every day, like looking at you today, you wouldn't know that you had a rougher upbringing. You know, you're well-dressed, well-spoken, well-educated. You have your shit together. And you know, it's unbelievable how a lot of us look at the people around us and don't take into account where they came from, what's going on in their own personal lives, what that person can bring as value to you or to someone around you. So I just want to say, dude, that's awesome. I love the fact that you're giving back. I love the fact that you're self-educated. I love the fact that you're moving on a trajectory, you know, straight up, and there's no stopping in sight for you. And probably one day you want to own like 1,000 units, right? I mean, you just want to own the whole world because you see that you can do it.
4,000 to 5,000 is what I'm shooting for units.
1,000? Why are you undercutting it?
What is that?
You're taking money out of my own pocket.
Oh man, that's funny.
No, but it's really true. And so, I mean, again, Matt, we're getting close to wrap up, but I want to make sure that we any last questions or some more questions for Sterling that I may not think of right now because my head's spinning with the awesome story.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious, just in terms of kind of building out like the lead generation team. Like it seems like you've got things pretty well segmented. You've got people doing canvassing, you've got people doing kind of the back end research, and you built a nice team out for yourself. So what's been the toughest part of building that out as you've grown from like just you doing it, and now you've got kind of a team behind you that's supporting you?
I'd say is putting the right people in place is the biggest. Well, I wouldn't say that's the biggest hurdle. I'm trying to think. That's actually a really great question. It's scaling essentially. So we've reached points in the business where my partner and I are being completely engraved in the trench work when we're trying to basically focus on the big picture. So I'd say that's one of the biggest things is hiring smart quality individuals to basically take things off your plate that will allow you to scale and basically oversee everything versus working in the trenches and constantly staying busy.
Yeah, busy is not always productive.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, and there is you hit it on the head, Sterling. The fact that you're hiring the right people, putting the right people in the right seats on the bus. And I know I'm totally guilty of fucking that up. And you have to then getting rid of someone's a pain in the ass. You know,
my gosh, yes.
Be selective, hire fast, but fire even faster if they're not the right people. And then, because there's always going to be, don't come from a lack mindset. You know, like, oh my God, this is the only person, or this is my sister-in-law, or this is my best friend growing up through childhood. Dude, if they're not right, don't hire them. And if they're the wrong person, you got to get rid of them even faster. I mean, how long? I mean, when you found someone that they were not the right fit, how long did it take you just to X them out of the company?
Well, first, I do like to understand why something is not working. And I ask, what can I do to help give you, am I not providing the necessary tools? And then once I do provide those tools and it's still not working, then boom, that's it. So, I mean, I maybe a month or so. I'm trying to think from the time I have the conversation. I'd say I at least give someone 2 to 3 times.
2 to 3 times.
And if it's still not working, then this relationship can go no longer, unfortunately. Still love you though.
Yeah, I love you. But I don't work with you.
Just let him bless you somewhere else. Let him bless you far away.
Yeah, you know, I gave Matt 2 or 3 chances. Thank God he got it right on the third one because that was close.
Ooh, man, it's touch and go there for a while. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. All right. So Sterling, help us understand a little bit more on the Holdfolio, just how people can get involved, the people that are listening, and how, if it's whether it's right for them or whether it's right for someone in their life that might want to get involved. Just give us the Cliff Notes version so they know exactly how to bring it up to their spouse, bring it up to a client of theirs, whatever they can say to them to kind of get them interested, so they'll check into you.
Gotcha. Well, if you're basically looking to get out of the real estate market and invest in something that's more secure and earn double-digit returns, then we would be a good option.
Very cool.
There we go. I don't want to throw too many right hooks on that, but
yeah,
even that simple.
Swift uppercut.
That's right.
And contact you. Where are they going to get a hold of you, my friend?
You can email me at sterling@holdfolio.com.
Awesome. Perfect. Now, Matt, how can people stalk you?
Well, they definitely should do that. Stalking from a distance is great. They can stalk me on Facebook. Following, do not friend, as the same for you, Greg. Follow, do not friend. You're at your max. So, guys, and then for us, as far as the show and everything, just make sure to subscribe, whether it's YouTube, iTunes, or Stitcher. Guys, we love reviews on iTunes. Those are phenomenal. We've got a bunch of them, but we can always use more. Just let us know what you appreciate about the show. That helps iTunes, know that it's a quality show that they should promote to other people. So that's always very helpful. We want to thank you guys for doing that and for sharing. I think like one of the guys that we ran into at the San Diego Expo last week said that he put the name of the show up on the whiteboard in his office, in his real estate office, and told everyone, you have to go watch this, go listen to these guys. It's stuff like that. Like that's why the show continues to grow, is crazy people out there doing crazy things to tell other people about the show. Awesome. And then, guys, check out getnowbusiness.com. That's the new course. We're super excited about it. We've been working hard at work, slaving away, lots of sweat behind the scenes to put that course together for you guys. The first session is Monday. If we get anything more than 20, it bounces over to June. So, guys, go register for that, because that'll close out before the end of the weekend. And, we're super excited for that. That's Monday morning at 9 a.m. We're psyched to get started on that new class. So here's the idea, just in a nutshell. It's about strategy and focus, right? So, Sterling, you're very good at knowing, okay, we're going to go out in the marketplace and figure out who has a need for what we have to offer. Now, there may be no relationship, there may be no connection. We'll figure out how to build the relationship, right? But let's at least find the need. So that's one option for getting now business. The other option for that is to go the other direction, which is look for, okay, who do we already have a relationship or connection with? We may not know if they have a need, but they may have a need, or they may know someone that does. And if I can get an introduction to that person, you're already in their social circle, and there's a natural level of trust and rapport built just by a mutual introduction or referral. So those are the two types of people we're going to talk about in terms of getting now business. It's how to find the people where you already have a connection, or they have a need, and you know that they have a need for what you offer. And that's what we'll cover, is how to start conversations with those two types of people.
And question for you, Matt. What's been your number one tool or channel that you utilize to get leads in?
Well, for the podcasting business, it has been LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is like the underutilized, amazing tool, and it works great for real estate. So I picked up the stuff that I do to grow my podcasting business, the marketing business, from someone who is teaching realtors to do it, right? So I know this stuff works. Not just that it works for marketing, just that it works in general. But yeah, so I will find somebody that I want to reach out to. I will search either by keywords, but I always start with the people that I have a second or third connection with on LinkedIn. Now, if I have a second connection, I'm golden. I'm in. I don't even have to know the person, but if I know the person that we're connected through, even better. So I'll reach out, I'll find their email. You can do that. There's plugins like Profit and Reportive and all this stuff. So anyway, you find somebody on LinkedIn, you find their email, you reach out to them and say, hey, I noticed we're connected on LinkedIn through so-and-so. He's a great client, or he's a friend, or whatever. They may not even know that person, but usually that's enough to build rapport and trust. Like, oh, we're connected. We kind of run in the same circles. And then usually it's then I'll move on to whatever the reason is that I reached out, whether it's I think they'd be a great guest, or, I think maybe I have someone that I can introduce you to that can help you, or, one of my friends runs a show I think you'd be a great guest on. Whatever my value proposition is, it's just basically a cold email from there, and I've started some amazing conversations. And it's my strategic advisor, my mentor now that coaches me once a month, came from a cold reach out on LinkedIn.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, Pasquale.
Oh, Squally, dude, I love that guy. He is awesome.
I know, he's awesome. Yeah, so after our first conversation off of a cold email from LinkedIn, we ended up talking for like a half hour, 45 minutes on the phone. He sent me a book, which is amazing, by the way. It's called Managing the Professional Services Firm, which everyone should read. But he sent me the book. I devoured the book, got back to him and said, oh my God, this is amazing. Who the hell are you? and we just started talking and became friends, and now it ends up being like my strategic, my coach essentially.
What was that book called? Managing the
Professional Service Firm by David Maister.
And Matt has talked about this a bajillion times, guys. So if you can't pick it up, Matt's kind of hinting that he likes it. So go read it.
To the point where I might actually do like a short run podcast series where me and Pasquale go through the key elements of that book, because it's a thick book, but it's amazing. I mean, anybody that's building out, like Sterling, you're building out this essentially a professional service firm, right? It's almost a consulting firm disguised as an investing. The end product might be investment, but behind the scenes, you're running a team of people who are doing professional work, right?
Correct.
So that book would be insanely valuable.
Dude, we should bring him on a weekly basis and have Pasquale. We will run it on the show, because some people that are listening to our show, I'm sure they get a ton of value out of it.
They would.
That'd be awesome. Also, another one, guys. Since we're swapping books, Matt, I did follow your lead. I did get Psycho Cybernetics. Holy fucking!
Oh, I love that book.
Isn't that amazing?
Maxwell Maltz.
Yep.
Yes.
Maxwell Maltz.
Ridiculous book. I mean, ridiculous book.
Okay, Sterling, if you like that one, what's that?
Earl Nightingale.
I haven't gotten into Earl Nightingale. That's really reaching back. That is now granted. I have reached back just as far. I have another one for you, which is Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. That's the one that was just released here a couple years ago. That is an amazing book from the 30s. So I'll reach back. But I haven't got into Earl Nightingale stuff yet.
W. Clement Stone.
That's right.
Yeah, reaching all the way.
A man that loves the classics. I love it. All right. Well, we'll talk about books all day. We got to wrap things up. But that's awesome. So, guys, go follow Sterling. Go check out Holdfolio. Seriously, if you guys are interested in getting into that part of the game, we can't talk about it enough. A lot of our audience is kind of new to real estate and just looking for tactical and practical ideas. But our goal is to take them to the point where they can get interested in that stuff and start building long-term wealth. And even just having those investing tools as options that they can talk about with homeowners is really, really valuable to have in your toolkit, because then it's more about. And I love going back to books, going back to Jay Abraham stuff. I love the Jay Abraham approach, which is you fall in love with the client and you are secondary. So your goal is always to put them first, and having other options to talk about really conveys that. It's not just about, hey, I'm on your doorstep because I want to make a profit off of your home. It's, hey, I care about you and I want to see you succeed, and I think I have the tools that can help you do that. And here are 2 or 3 options, and my services are one of those options. Like, that is a much better way to present yourself to people.
100%. I'm actually sorry. I'm getting just distracted. I'm getting the book.
You are distracted.
That's because people are asking about the book. I want to put the post in there on Amazon where they can go buy the Psycho Cybernetics.
Yes, Larry Hughes. It's Psycho, as in just like the movie Psycho Cybernetics. So yes, that is true. All right. And then Abraham asked, what was Matt's book? It is Managing the Professional Service Firm. And then Sterling, what's your favorite Earl Nightingale?
Oh my gosh, I'm trying to think what the essence of success was. I think it was about 6 or 8 CDs. I played those CDs so many times that it's scratched.
Yeah, I have a tape series like that. Yep.
But I'd say, I don't know if he has any books, but I really listen to
it's all radio recordings.
Radio recordings, and The Strangest Secret was the absolute game changer with shifting my mindset. Oh my gosh,
that's the way Psycho Cybernetics is doing for me.
Wow,
It's
getting chills thinking about it.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to have to do it. Make sure you follow all of us on Facebook. Follow Sterling on Facebook and Instagram. Check out Holdfolio. Subscribe to the show. Check out GetNowBusiness.com. Buy all those books. And then when you're done with that in 2 days, come out from your hole and listen to us again on Real Estate Uncensored on Monday.
All right, guys. We're out of here. We love you. We love you, and we will see you guys on Monday. Until then, peace out, ninjas. We gone.
Peace out.